Hello, dear students. I miss you so much. How are you? Hope you are okay, together with your family too. Today we will talk about some tenses, not all. You know that we use the tense of the verb according to the time it happens. So if it happens habitually, it means like habit or fact, we use the present simple, as you know. And if we talk about the past tense, so we use the past simple. What about if we have many verbs that happened in the past? What should we do? Should we put all the verbs in the past simple? Of course not. When we do many actions in the past, we need to arrange them, which happened before the other. The verb which happened first should be put in the past perfect, not only past simple. We have, of course, some words to help us arrange these actions, like after. Like this incident happened after this one. And also we have as soon as. They are the same. They give the same meaning with the word by or by the time or before. So after or before, as soon as, or by the time. These words help to arrange the actions or the situations that happened in the past. All the situation happened in the past, but we need to arrange them, which happened first and which happened later. What's the form of the past perfect? As you know, it's had plus PP. Had plus the past participle. This form of the verb, which is had plus PP, comes when two verbs happened in the past, one before the other or one after the other. The past perfect comes after the word after and before the word before. With the rhyme you can get it easily. After and before. You put had plus PP. You use the past perfect. If there is no subject, the verb, if there is no subject, so the verb should be put in gerund, of course. You can't put the verb in any tense unless you have a subject before. Let's have some examples. Yesterday I do my homework before I take my supper. So yesterday two actions happened, doing the homework and taking the supper. Which of them happened before the other? Doing the homework happened first and then taking the supper. So we have here the word before. We should use the verb before the word before in the past perfect. So yesterday I had done my homework before I took my breakfast. Another example. As soon as my mother come, we have lunch. Here also two incidents happen. The arrival of my mother and also having lunch. Which of them happened first and which happened later? According to the word as soon as. So, as soon as my mother had come, because as soon as like after, so after we put the verb in the past perfect. As soon as my mother had come, we had lunch. This, the second had is the past tense of have. So it's a verb in the past simple. After I take my dinner, I sleep. After the verb take should be had taken. After I had taken my dinner, I slept. Let's have another example. Before the bell ring, I reach school. It could be habitual. You can use before with the present simple and after. Before the bell rings, I reach school. This is my habit. This is what I do every day. But if you have yesterday or any word that indicates the past, so you have to arrange which action happened first. Is it the ringing of the bell or reaching the school? We don't have here a verb before to put it in the past perfect. So should we put the verb after before in the past perfect? Of course not. We put the verb after in the past perfect. But after before, it should be past simple, normal. So before the bell rang, what happened before? I had reached school. You got it? Before sleep, I listen to music. It also could be habitual. It could be my habit is to listen to music before sleeping. Here we have to use the gerund as we don't have subject here. Before sleeping, I listen to music. It could be every day, it could be habitual, and it could be yesterday, for instance. Before sleeping, I listened to music. So in this case, you should put the other verb in the past simple. After do gymnastics, I have a shower. We don't have subject here. So after doing, yes, gerund. After doing gymnastics, I have a shower. This is a habit. Example number 7. By the time the plane landed yesterday, we reached the airport. As you see here, we have yesterday. So both of the actions happened yesterday. By the time, it's exactly like before. So we use the past perfect before. Here we don't have verb before or before by the time. But we have a verb after. It should be put in the past simple, not past perfect. So by the time the plane landed yesterday, we had reached the airport. It means we had reached the airport first, and after that the plane landed. I do an English exam before I watch a movie. I do an English exam before I watch a movie. Here you have the word before. So I had done an English exam before I watched a movie. Before, past perfect, and the other verb past simple. This means that you first had done the English exam and after that you watched the movie. You can say it in another form, another structure. It was not until I had done my homework, I had done an English exam. It was not until I had done an English exam that I watched a movie. So I didn't watch the movie before doing the English exam first. It was not until And with not until, you use the word that. And you know, after that, you should write a complete sentence. I watched a movie. This is a complete sentence. Another form. It was only when I had done an English exam that I watched a movie. It was only when I had done an English exam that I watched a movie. So again, only when with the word that. Another example. As soon as my cousin comes, we go to the museum. We said before that as soon as exactly gives the meaning of after. So as soon as my cousin had come, we went to the museum. This is a typical rule of after or as soon as. Another way of forming the sentence, my cousin had no sooner come than we went to the museum. My cousin had no sooner come than we went to the museum. No sooner here means as soon as he had come. Notice here the verb is in the past perfect also. It consists of had and come, and no sooner is in between the two parts of the verb. Like already and just, you remember with the present perfect, I have already gone out. Here already in the middle of the two parts of the verb. Also no sooner comes in the middle of or in between the two parts of the verb. Again, my cousin had no sooner come than we went to the museum. Notice here that with the word no sooner we use then. Another form. This is if we start with no sooner. Is it the same? Of course not. If we start with no sooner, we should use the form of a question. So instead of saying my cousin had come, we should say had my cousin come. So no sooner had my cousin come, then we went to the museum. Pay attention to this point, please. So, if we start with no sooner, you should use the form of the question, not the sentence. So, you'll start with the auxiliary first and then the subject. With no sooner, as usual, we have to use the word then. So had before the subject, the auxiliary before the subject. This is the form of a question. Before I visit my friend, I call him. Again, two actions happened. Visiting my friend and calling him. And the word before arranges the incidents. Which happened first and then which happened later. Before I visited my friend, I had called him. Before I visited my friend, I had called him. So I had called him first, then I visited him. This is a polite way of visiting people. Of course, you should call them first. You should tell them that you are going to visit them. You can say this in another form. I had hardly called my friend when I visited him. I had hardly called my friend when I visited him. So here you have the word hardly. Again, it comes between the two parts of the past perfect. It also means as soon as. As soon as I had called my friend, I visited him. So notice here hardly in between the two parts of the past perfect, as I told you before. And notice here that the word hardly is connected with the word when. So no sooner connected with then, and hardly connected with when. What if we start with hardly? If we start with hardly, it's the same as we start with the no sooner. So we need to use the form of a question. Hardly had I called my friend when I visited him. Hardly had I, not I had I. This is the form of the question. Again, hardly connected with the word when. And had, the auxiliary before the subject. Another form. Having called my friend, I visited him. Having called my friend, this is not a sentence. This is not a clause. It doesn't have a verb, but it's a phrase. Having called my friend, it means after calling my friend, I visited him. So this is how you arrange the verbs to be in the past simple or past perfect. You arrange the verbs which happened first and which happened later. Hope you got the idea. Hope you practice well. I wish you good luck. Goodbye.